found up some winter patterns. Hello, my name is Emily Crow from Crochet Creations and welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to Vlogmas. We are about halfway through, which is amazing to think about. December is definitely flying by. It's been really busy. This special video I have for you today is a roundup of some wintry holiday type patterns that are perfect for this time of year. Some of these patterns are definitely more Christmassy related. I do have a couple for other holidays. I have a Hanukkah pattern and then something I want to mention for the Lunar New Year. Other than that, I had a hard time finding other denominational holiday patterns. So a lot of these are also very wintry related. I tried to kind of spread things out, and these are all patterns that I could see myself making and that I think would be really fun to make this season, this time of year. So let's hop right into it. First, I want to talk about some patterns that are more Advent focused that would be really great if you have any kind of countdown calendar, whether that's for Advent or for another season. So I'll have some that are for mini skeins as well as others that would be a really good fit for larger skeins of yarn, like a weekly Advent that you open. The very first pattern I found was the Solstice Engrain by Opie of S Knits. And this pattern uses fingering weight yarn. It's a nice shawl that fades from one end to the other. And this would be great because you could add in the colors as you open them. It looks like it takes 20 mini skeins, 20 grams each, and you could either pull a few that you didn't like as much out from like a 24 or 31 day countdown calendar, or you could, I think, easily modify the pattern to add a couple more colors in. The way that this is constructed, it looks like from one tip to the other tip, so you could make it a little bit bigger, I think. She's got a couple other patterns, one of which, the Grove Shawl Light, that I plan to make that is very similar to this. If you have not made those patterns, I think that those would both be really good options. She's got a Grove Shawl Light and a Grove Shawl. That's DK weight yarn. The Solstice Engrain is the one I really wanted to highlight here because it's intended for a group of mini skeins. You could definitely make the Grove Shawl patterns with like the weekly Advent calendars, the 4 full skeins or something that you could open throughout the month of December or whatnot. So those are good options. She's got a few like the Resource Raglan, other patterns that also would be a really good fit if you want to really customize a piece that you want to make with your countdown calendar skeins. A couple other really good patterns for mini skeins. The Sea Glass Sweater by Wool & Pine Designs. They've got a crochet version and a knit version, and they also have a fingering weight tee version. So these are really good for mixing up all your mini skeins together. You could add extra scraps to the pile so that you're really working through your stash. You could have one main color that's the background throughout, kind of highlighting just the mini skeins for your countdown calendar or the specific scraps that you have. You could focus on a certain color palette if you wanted to. You could hold your yarn double if you have a lot of fingering weight yarn but you want to make the sweater. Things like that. There's lots of options, and Wool & Pine Designs has some really great patterns in general, so I really trust that they're going to be a good pattern to follow. Another sweater that is actually fingering weight. So if you didn't want to modify the sea glass sweater, you can make My Favorite Adventure by Dragonhoard Yarns. And this is a fingering weight sweater pattern, again, that highlights an advent calendar using one main skein as the background. A little bit of a different textural design compared to the sea glass sweater. So you might like one version over the other. And then this one is actually a free pattern I want to share with you. This is the Tiny Tree Socks pattern by Summerly Knits. And as soon as this came out a few years ago, I made one like instantly. I have it here still, and I've been meaning to make more. I think they're so fun and so cute. Oh my goodness. This is just leftover scrap of a yarn that I wasn't too fond of, but I wanted to kind of try out the pattern and I loved it. It was so fun. Basic sock construction. So if you are familiar with socks, this would not be hard to make. It's definitely not the same ratios as a typical sock, but that's because it isn't made to fit on a foot. And you can see it's got kind of like more of a drapey angle, so it's perfect for like hanging as an ornament or making a garland of a whole bunch. You could do one for each day of Advent using Advent mini skeins, and then have a fun decoration or like a set of ornaments that you could use year after year, which would be so fun. You could also, I think, upsize this pattern with bigger yarn or something and make bigger, like more stocking-like ornaments or decorations. So really, really cute, really, really fun. Uses hardly any yarn, so really great for those little scraps too. And there's a couple mods in the pattern, so you can have like little speckles of color work or stripes or whatnot. So it's not just like a simple vanilla sock. There's like a vanilla plus style to it. If you are a pretty beginner to socks and you don't want to really modify this pattern too much, you can follow the instructions that Summer gives so that you can have a variety of socks. This next set of patterns I want to talk about are the Christmas balls by Arne and Carlos, and they are a bigger name in social media in the fiber arts world, though I'm not super familiar with them, but I have heard of this advent. So they do these Christmas balls every year, and there's 24 different designs, so you can make 24 unique baubles to put on your Christmas tree or to use as decoration around your house during the holiday time. And they come up with a new set of patterns every year. And so I just have highlighted a few years here, and they do have a 2023 version that is current. So if you want to be up on what they're making right now, then you can do that. I think this is so fun, and you can use these decorations year after year. You can either have 2 colors in your palette, maybe a couple of full skeins, or you can use like an advent with the smaller mini skeins, and you can like mix and match colors and kind of choose your own adventure. So this would be really fun to be able to customize it, whether you do like a narrow color palette or a broad color palette from an advent. This uses DK weight yarn, so if you do a fingering weight advent, you can always hold things double. If you do a DK weight advent, then it's already set up for you, which is really nice. So the sky is the limit with these, and they're not exclusive for this time of year, so you can work on your baubles any time of the year. I want to talk about the doodle patterns by Jamie Lomax of Pacific Knit Co. I love her doodle patterns, and this is really something that she has made her own and made it iconic for her brand. These doodles are micro charts that are within a certain theme that you can purchase, like holiday theme or winter skies theme or autumn or Rhinebeck. She had a set of Rhinebeck doodles, and you can use these doodles and mix and match them in whatever order you want. You can customize the doodles if you want to change the color placement a little bit. You can make these doodles fit into any kind of project, whether it's a sock, a hat, a scarf. Even some people have modified it to fit into a sweater pattern. I think it's really cool how much customization there is available with these doodles, but also how much Jamie gives you in her patterns. So she has multiple patterns with these doodles in it. So she's got the original holiday doodle cowl and a hat. And so these are the original pattern with 34 charts within that pattern. She's also got the Winter Skies cowl pattern, and this one has 23 charts that are more like snowflake, wintry, sky themed, nice and cozy vibes. My favorite is the holiday doodle stocking. So using those same 34 charts that come in the pattern of other holiday doodle patterns, there's also instructions for how to make this into a stocking, so you can make your own perfect holiday doodle stocking for Christmas, hang it up on your mantle. You can really customize it. And the thing about these doodles is you can mix and match and swap doodles from other patterns into a pattern. So if you really like certain doodles from the Winter Skies cowl, you can put that in your holiday doodle stocking. Or if you want to insert some basic doodles or some letters or something, or make up your own doodles, you can easily do that. Super customizable. And then this one is actually really cool. She just released the holiday doodle advent scarf, and this includes 50 doodle motifs, 50 motifs, which is amazing. That's like the most I've seen in any of her doodle patterns. It has every chart in the Winter Doodle deck. So if you have the Winter Doodle deck, which is like a more substantial piece of card, I think I have the Winter Doodle deck. Is that one I bought? Let me see. I do have it. Okay, the Winter Doodle deck. It's like a deck of playing cards, and on them it has some of the doodles. Ta-da! So you can use these instead of printing out the pattern and like cutting up the doodles and like trying to rearrange them. This is just like more sturdy and easier to work with, I feel like. My deck is all out of order because my toddler was playing with it. But that's why I purchased that, so I could hopefully make a holiday doodle stocking at some point or other. We'll see if I do it. We're talking about the Advent scarf. So the idea of this is that you can use an advent and make a different doodle every single day, kind of mix and match your colors. You can easily use the full skeins and just have a limited color palette. You can easily do like a weekly full skein countdown calendar, have like a limited color palette, or you can use advent minis and have like 24 different colors and kind of mix and match and pick a different doodle every day. So you have a scarf to kind of commemorate this entire advent season. I think this is a really fun idea to be able to do a different doodle every day. And one other pattern that I think would be really good for countdown calendars that I am hoping to make this season is the Stella quilt cushion by Laura Penrose. And this is DK Weight Yarn Fingering Held Double. And this is so easy to customize. You can just have the main color and then a contrast color, or you can use all sorts of contrast colors, different mini skeins. Or what I think I want to do is I have a 50-gram weekly countdown calendar. I think I'm going to use the 50-gram skeins in order to make all the contrast colors and then have like a main color to use as the background and the backing of the cushion. But you can really use as many or as few colors as you want. I think this is really cool and it's a beautiful design. You can make it specific for the holiday season. You can make it into an essential part of your home decor year round. You can color code it and have like different seasonal pillows. I think this is such a fun idea. And I'm really excited to make it. It looks like the construction isn't necessarily difficult, but a little bit unique and something I haven't done personally. And so I'm excited to cast this on. I just want to open 1 or 2 more weekends so that I can see how the colors play together and just make me feel better about like starting this project when I don't know what all the yarn looks like, I guess. So we'll see. Maybe I'll start it this weekend. And I'll have to pick a main color too. That's also a barrier in the main to figure out. Let's start talking some cute mini things because everyone loves making cute things. Well, maybe not everyone, but I love making cute things. So we're going to start with Santa's laundry line. I have seen this pattern in the past. It's by Eleonore von Castelmur. 10 years old, wow. You use fingering weight yarn. You make these little pieces of clothing that look like Santa's snowsuit, which is so cute. So there's like stockings and a hat and gloves and pants with suspenders and a little coat. There's definitely some room for customization. Some people have, you know, added like a little belt for his coat and things like that. Or done different things with like the suspenders or whatnot. Super cute idea. This would be really fun to make. Would just take a couple partial skeins of yarn even to fit the color palette. And you could use this as like a little garland or as ornaments on your tree. It would just look super, super cute. And it's free. I love that. Another cute mini home decor thing that you could use as an ornament or make into a garland are these tiny sweaters by Miriam L. Felton. This is also an older pattern. It looks like 5 years old, but there's a couple different motifs. You can make snowflake, you can make a Christmas tree, Christmas lights. There's even a menorah, it looks like, if you celebrate Hanukkah. So there's a few different designs and you can really customize. I don't know how much of this is color work versus embroidery. It looks like a lot of it's embroidery. So that really leaves a lot open to you in how you want to decorate your teeny tiny sweaters. And fingering weight yarn, so great for scraps. Final small piece of home decor. This is Mistletoe by Natalia Erkhova. And I was literally just thinking that I really wanted mistletoe in my house. We've got like an archway and we've got garland that we're gonna have on either side of it. And I think it'd be the perfect spot to hang a little bit of mistletoe right in the middle. And I have not found any mistletoe, not live mistletoe, not decor mistletoe. So maybe I should just make some mistletoe. This is a really clean cut and minimal design that has a large impact. And this is a kind of decoration that you can keep around for years to come. I love it. This pattern just came out though. It uses lace weight yarn, so it's really fine, really delicate looking, but also doesn't look too difficult. It is crochet, which is fun. And I just love this. I really want to make this now because I have not been successful in finding any mistletoe anywhere. And I really want some for our house, but it's so small. It says when made with like the recommended 2mm hook and lace weight yarn, the length of the branch is 15 centimeters. So that's as big as it gets, not super big. Smaller than my head. Pretty life size, I would say, as far as mistletoe goes. All right, let's talk about some cute little toys. I am currently working on the No Matter What pattern by Schira, and I am a little bit behind, but I'm ready to dig into that today. This is the Mystery Gnome Knit-Along for the month of December, and she does a couple of these knit-alongs throughout the year, and this one's really fun because it is set up in an Advent style. And so instead of having like a clue every like 3 or 4 days or a clue a week or whatnot, she does a different clue every day, and she also has a story that goes along with the making of this gnome, so you have something to open and read or knit every single day, which I think is such a cute idea. So this should be really fun. We're currently knitting Mr. Knightley with a G, and I love that. I do love Emma. I'm in the middle of rereading it. That's super fun. She's got lots of other gnome patterns that you can also do that would be fun for scraps, fun for Advent skeins. Sky's the limit. And there's a lot of customization within each of her patterns usually. but this one is specific for this month currently going on, and you can still definitely join in. And this pattern is actually free, which is so cute. This is Reindeer by Garland. She's the mastermind behind so many different knit softie toys, like the cute little frog and toad that I'm sure you've seen on Instagram. Super, super cute. But this pattern is free. It just recently came out. It calls for a sport weight yarn technically, but I'm sure you can max gauge pretty easily with other weights of yarn that are more common. And this is adorable, and it's pretty small. 14 centimeters from nose to rear end. I'm really glad I have this handy. 14 centimeters. Oh my gosh, it's only that long. It's teeny weeny and only 8 centimeters tall. That is so small. That's way smaller than I thought it would be. Oh my goodness. That's so cute. Okay, I need to make this like right now. It's adorable. Oh, I love this little reindeer. Looks like you just need 2 skeins, 2 colors of yarn. So cute. And like I said, it is free. Some of her patterns are free occasionally, and so I would hop on that if you are interested. The final toy pattern is like, technically it's not actually released yet, but I wanted to share this designer is Jessica Lau from All About Aimee, and she has a ton of really awesome patterns, both crochet, and she's got some knit patterns too, a whole wide range of anything from toys to home decor to garments. And I really want to highlight, she's got a series of Chinese New Year patterns. And unfortunately, she has not come out with the pattern for 2024 yet. It is Year of the Dragon coming up, but she's got a whole backlog of patterns from previous years. Year of the Rabbit, Tiger, what else does she have? Ox, monkey, sheep, pig, rat. She's got a ton. So I'm sure she's going to come up with one for this coming year, and it just has not been released yet. So I would definitely keep an eye on this designer so you can see the dragon that she'll come up with this year. But in the meantime, you could also make any of the past years. She's got a really definitive style, which is really easy to see throughout her patterns. And so I'm excited to see what she comes up with for 2024 for the Lunar New Year. This next pattern is a pair of socks that just came out. And I do have a lot of different sock roundups. And so this is one that has not been on any of those because it is brand new. It is by Stone Knits, the Cup of Hot Cocoa socks. And these are just like a warm hug. Oh, I love these. The hot cocoa cup is so cute. It's got whipped cream. It's got a peppermint stick in it. It's got a little snowflake on the mug. And then there's this like cool, almost peppermint stick striping type of motif kind of accented throughout the sock. And you can also repeat some of these motifs on other parts of the sock to make it like a full colorwork sock. But the general design, it's just so, so cute. And oh my goodness, I want these socks. I need to go in my stash and pick out some yarn for it so I can cast on as ASAP as possible because I already bought this pattern because it's so cute. I'm a huge fan of Charlotte Stone. I have her book, Chartwing Colorwork Socks, right here. Ta-da! And I love everything that she designs. And so I'm really excited to jump in on this sock pattern too. This next pattern I want to share with you definitely reminds me of the classic Nordic knitting style. These are called the Snow Ghost Mittens by Amy Alexander. This is also a pretty old pattern, but I love this pattern. They're beautiful, this beautiful colorwork motif using 2 colors of yarn. I love this. This is beautiful. And it definitely reminds me of the patterns in the Nordic Knitting Primer by Kristen Drisdale. And she's got a few, I literally just opened to this mitten page. It's a very iconic style. And so if you like that kind of look, I think it's perfect for like cozy winter vibes, then this pattern is a great one for you. This pattern, the Snow Swept Hat by Laura Fahlin, is one that I had not ever seen before, but I really like this. I think this is a great first cabling pattern if you're comfortable making hats because you only do one side leaning cable, like a left leaning cable, and that's it. You don't have any right leaning cables. And so definitely great for your first time cabling. So you get a little taste of it, but it's also not nearly as intricate as a lot of cabling patterns. There's also a cowl that goes with it, so you can have a matching set if you like. I think this is a really fun little twist on a cabled hat pattern. Really fun little design that wouldn't be too hard to work up. It uses Aran weight yarn, so like a thicker worsted would be perfect for this. There's 3 different sizes for the hat. A really good accessory for this time of year. Another hat that I think is worth mentioning is this Snow Tamaracks pattern by Melinda Bernardi. And this is this beautiful hat. I really love this color work. I don't know what it is about this, if it's reminding me of something else, but I love how you use two colors and in the middle they meet, and there's just like all these like spikes in the color work. I just really like this style. It's really cool, and you can mix and match with any kind of colors. You can have a lower contrast or a high contrast, and they both look really nice and cozy for this time of year. While we're speaking of hats, let me tell you about my hat pattern. This is the Wonderland hat, and I love this design. I was just using some leftover yarn, and I ended up making like 4 hats in just like 2 or 3 weeks because I had so much fun crocheting this pattern. I came out with it at the very beginning of this year. I used worsted weight yarn, and what's really cool about this pattern is I sized it from newborn all the way to adult large. So from a head circumference of 15 inches all the way up through 26 inches. So it could fit everybody. And there's also 2 different fits. You could do a more fitted look or a slouchy fit. It wasn't until I worked with testers that I realized you could make the fitted hat and then just fold the brim down, and then it would be a slouchy hat, which is super fun. It's mostly worked in half double crochet for the majority of the hat, and then you make a fold up brim using this cool Wonderland like split puff type stitch. It's a really cool texture, and because it's a fold up brim, it's definitely way cozier. I'm a huge fan of this pattern. I was really proud of this design, and it just like worked out perfectly. I don't know, like some designs you have to work really hard to get them the way you want, and this one just kind of like appeared in my brain and then appeared on my hook, and it was perfect. Like it brought me so much joy to design this. I really want to do more things in the Wonderland like collection using this kind of stitch pattern, but this hat is a great piece for making gifts. If you're working on any last minute Christmas or other holiday gifts, I recommend. I'm biased, but I recommend. Since we're talking about the Wonderland patterns, I'm going to share the Wonderland sweater that I made. I also designed this with Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted, and it's got that cool split puff stitch texture on the sleeves, but then the main body is just half double crochet. This was a really interesting construction for me. You start at the bottom of the front, you crochet your way up, then split for the V-neck, and then you connect back behind the neck, and then crochet the rest of the back. Then you like attach the sides, attach the sleeves, do the hems, all that stuff. So this is really fun to work on. Definitely leaves room for making adjustments for your own size if you want to change how the neck is laying, things like that. And now I'm thinking about it, I don't remember where my sweater is. I don't remember seeing it in my closet last time I was in there. I gotta find the sweater. I don't know where it went because this is perfect for this time of year. Nice and cozy, but a really cute and flattering V-neck. I'm a fan of V-necks, and with some fun statement sleeves that are just like a little bit unique and fun, but also nothing super crazy and out there. It is sized to fit busts up to a 62-inch size. So a true 5X. I do my best to be size inclusive. We're done with self-promotion. Let's move on to some other sweater designs that I think are perfect for this time of year. And I tried to get a little bit of everything in this video because I could talk about so many winter and holiday sweaters, but I've only got a couple here because I tried to make room for a little bit of everything right now. This colorwork pattern is called the Festive Yoke Pullover by Reindeer Knits. And I love these colorwork motifs. They're super, super cute. This is like a nice fitted sweater. I see some people have done colorwork throughout. Some people only did colorwork on the yoke, so you could definitely mix and match, it looks like. Yeah, and it looks like there's a bunch of motifs, and you can really put them wherever you want them, which is really cool. It looks like there might be one specific order that the designer chose, so you could follow that, or you can mix and match the motifs however you want. Oh, super, super cute. It uses sport weight yarn. I think you could make some adjustments to the thickness of the yarn and still get the fit you're looking for. And again, this is size inclusive up to 62-inch bust. I really tried to find only size inclusive patterns because that's important to me, that as many people as possible can make a pattern that I am promoting. Then our final sweater, there's actually 2 different designs, a woman design and a children's design. This is Snow Wonder by Heidi Kermeyer. This is a pretty new pattern. It uses worsted weight yarn and it has these cute baubles to make a snowflake shape. So it's nice and fun for this winter season, for the holiday season, but also not holiday specific, which is really awesome. I guess you're out of luck if you are living in the southern hemisphere because you don't have snow this time of year. But if you do have snow, if you like snowflakes, this is still something you can make. You just might not want to wear a worsted weight sweater with a snowflake on it when it's like nice and warm in Australia this time of year. I think that's a problem you guys have faced a lot. So I do apologize for that. Maybe that would be fun to look for like wintry themed patterns, but in lighter weight yarns or like lighter weight items so that someone who lives in the southern hemisphere or who has warm weather this time of year could still appreciate the season. This is size inclusive up to a 6X, a 72-inch bust, which is awesome for the women's size. And the children's size is in DK weight yarn, so a little bit lighter, a little bit different gauge, and fits a size 4 to a size 12. So no little babies, it looks like. So if you have a little that's not super, super brand new little, you could easily make this pattern and match with them, which is such a fun idea. I've got one shawl to share with you. This is the Glittering Snowscape Shawl by Stephen West. And oh, this pattern also just came out. Like anything Stephen West, he's the master of color. He's the master of texture, mixing textures together. So this would be a really fun, almost like a sampler. And it looks like he used a fade of yarn. If you have those skeins that naturally have a gradient to them, that could be really good in this type of pattern. You could really mix and match your color palette that you'd want to do. If you didn't want to do this like fade, you could also do a single color if you wanted, but there's a huge variety of textures, mixture of like texture and lace and whatnot. So this would be really fun to do. I'm a big fan of this and I really like, honestly, the fading look. I think he fades these really well together because sometimes when you have a pattern that fades and they're using tonals, you can see the stark contrast even if you like alternate skeins for a couple rounds to kind of mix the colors and meld them together. But in this pattern, it looks like a really natural fade, which is really cool. And I think that's because of how the texture kind of breaks things up. That's really pretty. Fingering weight yarn, uses about 1,500 yards. It looks like he used 5 different colors, but I think you could probably make do with 4 different colors if you really wanted to bust some stash. We've got a couple pillows for you. This is the one Hanukkah related pattern that I really, really liked. This is the Menorah Pillow by Suzanne Atkinson. This is an old pattern, almost 20 years old. Wow. It's published in a book called Hand Knit Holidays, Knitting Year Round for Christmas, Hanukkah, and Winter Solstice. And what I really love about this pillow is this really cool cabled detail texture. The texture on this pattern makes it really easy to see the focus, the menorah, but also it's not super intense in your face. It looks very classy. It looks very sophisticated. It looks like this is honestly a pretty simple knit, but you have a little bit of cabling or like moving your stitches just a little bit. And so there's definitely some interest there. You definitely would have to follow a chart to make sure you put everything in the right spot. But this would be really fun to make, I feel like. Not too difficult, but a little bit of interest. This pillow is the Winter Wonderland pillow, and I really like this design too. It's by Kay Hopkins. And it looks like it was part of a knit along. This is just a really fun, impactful, more minimal pillow design. It looks like you'd have like 4 different sections on the front of the pillow, a little bit of colorwork design. Looks like 4 mini shawls that you like join together to make a square. This is so fun. It calls for a sport weight yarn, but I think that there's definitely some room for matching your gauge with fingering or maybe even DK weight yarn, depending on what you want to do. This is cute. Oh, look, it even has like DK weight yardage or fingering weight yardage. So it's made so that you can use different weights of yarn depending on what works for you. All right, this next pattern, our penultimate pattern, Winter Forest by Alexis Sixel. And this is a crochet pattern. It's a mosaic colorwork design that includes instructions for making a pillow out of the design, making a placemat. I think those are the 2 things really. And so you can mix and match a little bit on the heights of the trees that you include. And oh, this would be such a cute pillow. I love this. And again, you can use as many or as few colors as you want. Super cute. And I did not have as many crochet patterns in this bundle, so it's really fun to be able to highlight a crochet pattern here. Our final pattern also crochet. It looks like this pattern also uses mosaic crochet, and this is a beautiful design. It's part of a crochet along from a couple of years ago. It uses Aran weight yarn. Again, you could probably use worsted weight depending on your gauge, and there's all sorts of beautiful wintry motifs that's really fun. So this would be a really good chance to like stretch your mosaic crochet skills and like mix and match and pick which motifs you wanted to use. Maybe mix up a few colors if you wanted to kind of have some fun playing with colors. It looks like there's a Spanish and French version, which is super fun. Aha, 14 different patterns that you can use. This is a really beautiful throw. I love it. I love all these like holiday motifs, these wintry motifs. They make me happy. That is more than 30 winter and holiday related patterns that I think would be really fun to work on this time of year. Everything from advents to maybe gift knitting to something that really fits the motifs of the season, a little bit of crochet. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. I love doing these roundups. This is not an exhaustive list. There's no way this could ever be exhaustive. But this is really fun to be able to look at some patterns and find something that kind of fits the mood I'm in. And I would love to hear if you want to cast on any of these patterns and what you would want to make and how you would want to make it. If you'd want to use any of your advents or other countdown calendars, or if you already have the yarn in mind, let me know. I'd love to hear about the projects that you're working on and if there's anything that you're inspired to make. Until next time, happy making. Bye!